I hope you're having a great day. Today, I want to talk about vitamin W. You see, everyone comes in and they keep asking for vitamins. Can I have a vitamin for my hair? Can I have a vitamin for my kidney? Can I have a vitamin for my liver? Do I need a vitamin for my heart? Do I need a vitamin to lose weight? Now, you need to take vitamins when you have a deficiency. You need to take vitamins when you're taking certain medications that deplete vitamins from your body and trace minerals. So when you have a deficiency, you supplement. That's why it's called a supplement. You supplement a deficiency with a vitamin or a mineral. We should all be looking at getting our minerals and our vitamins from our food. Now, I know we have a problem with food. Most of our food today is contaminated. The soils are contaminated. So if we don't get good, organic, wholesome, natural food, most of the food that we're eating is already depleted in vitamins. Anyway, today I want to talk about vitamin W. That W is not a vitamin that you're going to get in your food. It is walking. And we all know how good walking is for us, but today I want to go over how extremely important walking is for you. Now, this is something inexpensive. It's free. You don't have to spend money on it. And you can do it anytime. You can do it anywhere, subject to the weather. But I'm going to explain to you how important walking is for every condition. Whether you have a cancer, whether you have a heart disease, whether you have a kidney problem, of course, you should be physically able to walk. You must start investing in walking today, because this and yoga are the two exercises that you can do right now. If you're 30, if you're in your 40s, if you're in your 50s, you can do it even if you're in your 80s and your 90s. You may not be able to deadlift or bench press at age 90. You may not be able to do CrossFit at the age of 80, but you can walk and you can do yoga. But today we're going to talk about vitamin W, which is walking. I can't tell you how many people today have sedentary lifestyles. And just because you do a 1 hour workout, it doesn't mean that you are active. It means that you are sedentary active. You work out for 1 hour, but if the rest of your day is sedentary, okay, that's a huge problem, because the body was never designed to sit for a long period of time. The body was never designed to be sedentary. Now, I understand we have real problems. If we're working in a corporate and our job requires us to sit, certain jobs require us to sit for a long time, but still, where there is a will, there is a way. You can still find time to be active and to walk. If we really sit down and introspect into our lives, we will find time to walk, whether it's a 10-minute walk, whether it's a 20-minute walk, or a 1 hour walk. The point is walk. You can walk at airports, you can walk at malls, you can decide to walk wherever you want to if it allows you to, but you just have to have that motivation to walk. Today, science tells us that even a 10-minute walk is enough to get your circulation moving in a way that is positive for the body. 10 minutes of a walk is enough for you to change your cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So we're just talking about 10 minutes. If we can't pull out 10 minutes of our busy day to make time for our health, we're going to have to pull out a lot more time, okay, to spend at hospitals and, handling illness. So let's talk about diabetes. We've spoken about this. One of the most powerful lifestyle changes that you can make if you have diabetes is walking for 10 to 15 minutes or even 20 around approximately 25 to 30 minutes after you finish a meal. So whether it's a breakfast, lunch, or dinner, if you can plan even one meal in a day, post a meal for about 30 minutes, you don't do anything. You're not supposed to be active after a meal because you want all that blood to rush to your digestive system and facilitate digestion. But 30 minutes post that, if you can engage yourself in a light walk, it is fantastic for type 2 diabetes. And I can already see familiar names who have logged into this live video who have reversed their diabetes by making lifestyle changes. And one of the changes that they've made is walking 30 minutes before your meals, because it has a positive impact on your sugar levels. Not just diabetes. Okay, your heart health. We all know that today that the root cause of most heart problems is inflammation. And inflammation comes down when we have the right amount of circulation, which is brought together by simple exercise. Now, you can choose what exercise you love, but walking, we're talking about walking, which is something that you can do if you don't have a gym, if you don't have a trainer. You can just go out for a walk. I want to talk about depression today. There are so many people who are slipping into depression or are already depressed. Some people are highly anxious, and anxiety is a huge problem for human health because it upsets your entire hormonal balance because it's constantly producing high cortisol. Now, one of the best ways to walk off anxiety is walk off anxiety. When you start walking, here's the magic that happens. When we're anxious, we don't breathe the right way. When you're anxious, you notice that you have short breathing. And sometimes when your anxiety levels go too high, you're hyperventilating. This means that You have less oxygen going in and you're storing more carbon dioxide. And that's why that makes us feel like literally you're going to faint or you have an anxiety attack and sometimes you pass out. The idea is you got to keep oxygen going into your system. When you're anxious, highly anxious, or you're going through depression. Depression is a vast subject, and I don't want to talk about the people who have very, very deep depression. I'm talking about if you feel you're slipping into depression and you have depression. Yes, psychologists today say that you can walk off your depression. Because when you walk, you automatically start regulating your breathing. When you exercise, you start regulating your breathing automatically, which means you're doing an activity, so you start taking in more oxygen. The more oxygen you start taking in, your cortisol levels start getting balanced. Your cortisol starts getting balanced, your progesterone, testosterone, your estrogen, your androgens, everything starts to fall back into place, including your thyroxine and including your insulin. So all this has a connection with people who have thyroid problems, people who have diabetes, people who have inflammation in their bodies, and people who have depression as well. The second thing, when you start walking, you're distracting your mind from the problem. The issue is that when you're depressed and you focus on all the problems or the root cause of your depression, you begin to stay in that space and you move deeper and deeper into your depression. You need to create distraction, which is why they say speak to a friend, go out, listen to music, read a book, whatever it is. But that's different. We're talking about walking. If you start engaging in walking, you immediately create a distraction. Now, if you're lucky and you live in a city or you live in a place where you have access to nature, and if you walk in nature, that is going to bring you immediate calmness. That is going to reduce your anxiety immediately. So walking and walking in nature. It's a different thing. In the city I live in, Mumbai, there's no walking space. So sometimes walking actually creates more anxiety because you don't know who's going to, ride on the platform or the honking and all of that around you. So unless you can find a park, sometimes walking can cause stress for you as well. Your bone health. Every man and woman post the age of 30, forget the age of 30, even 20s, should start worrying about their bone health. Today we have young people with osteoporosis. We have young men and women. Before, this used to be a woman thing because they go through pregnancy, they lose calcium, they don't populate their calcium, and they have osteoporosis. But today we have men. We have men who have problems with bone density and young people. Why? Because our lives are sedentary. A weight-bearing exercise doesn't mean that you have to lift weights. A weight-bearing exercise also includes walking. Walking is a weight-bearing exercise. So is climbing steps, so is jogging, so is mountain climbing. All of these are weight-bearing exercises. You see, the intelligence of the human body was built with what we need for survival and to survive the healthy way. But when you're sitting in that chair hour after hour, you're creating more problems in your body. So the idea is walk. How can you walk? A 10-minute walk can even change your mood because you start producing endorphins. So you're depressed, you're angry, whatever that negative emotion that you have, cut yourself away from the situation. When you go for a walk, you distance yourself from the trigger. Whether it's a person, whether it's a boss, whether it's a spouse, or whether it's an event, immediately distancing yourself from the event or the trigger will help you calm down. So walk away from that problem. Come back to it later. You can't walk away from all your problems in life. You've got to come back to it. But you come back calmer and you come back, with the ability to use rationale when you're handling that and logic rather than react and use anger and make the situation worse. When you walk, your creative juices also flow. Most people I know get their ideas when they walk. Because you're distracted, you're walking, your mind starts focusing on everything that you wanted to do. So if you focus your attention on something that you want to create, whether it's art, it's your business, it's a plan that you want to make, you'll find that you'll get most of your creative ideas while you are walking. And if it's in nature, it's even better. So we need to understand that also when you're anxious and depressed, and if you're sedentary, that makes the whole situation worse because you have a lot of unused energy. And this unused energy is energy. It will flow where it has to flow. So if it's not being utilized to exercise or to walk, that unused energy goes into just magnifying all the problems that you have. So you have to create distraction. You have to walk. I can't tell you how important it is. Now, a lot of people say 10,000 steps. Okay, that's a great benchmark. I look at 10,000 steps too. No matter what, I will get 10,000 steps on any good day, subject to a couple of days when I travel. Okay, I like to use a band because that reminds me, whatever it is, whether you use an Apple, I use a Goki because I like to have a coach who's constantly there to remind me. But whatever it is, sometimes you have a counter on your phone, whatever works for you. The idea is have a benchmark. have a benchmark, because sometimes we get so lost in life, we don't even know how active we are anymore. And all of a sudden you realize, I get only 2,000 steps. 2,000 steps is not enough for you. Now, especially as you're growing older and older, and this is for the elderly, the more you walk, the more you will be able to prevent the onset of disease. The more you walk, the more possibility you have for your doctor reducing your medication because you are active. We have to understand one thing: the human body is not designed to be sedentary, and that's why we have most of the health problems we have today. Whether it's our knees, it's our back, it's the weight we're putting on, it's our mindset, it's our depression, whatever it is. You start being active and the body is designed to work better when it's active. So I encourage everyone to get more activity in your life. It doesn't matter if you did a 1 hour of CrossFit. That's great for you. I'm happy you did CrossFit. But you still got to be active during the day. Now, a lot of people say they have knee pain and they can't walk. If your knee pain is so excruciating that you can't even walk 10 minutes, respect that. But you have to understand that sometimes weak knees are weak because of the cartilage and the muscle around it. It will take a little bit of pain before it starts getting stronger and stronger. So walk for 10 minutes. When you feel better, walk for 12 minutes and then build it up to 15 minutes. That's how you make a muscle strong. So if you train in the gym, you'll understand that. The first couple of days you go and lift weights, your muscles are completely sore. Why? Because you've broken down muscle, but now that muscle will get stronger and stronger and enable you to lift heavier and heavier. The same thing with your knee. So a little pain shouldn't be an obstacle for you not to walk. You got to start walking to keep that circulation growing. So whatever it takes, you want to start adding activity. Today you may have 2,000 steps. That's fine. Tomorrow you want it to be a better day than today. You want to figure out ways. And when you have that benchmark, like for me, it's 10,000 in India. But if I'm in New York, my target is 20,000 steps, because 10,000 is less for New York and London, where you walk too much. So keep changing your target accordingly. But I can tell you one thing: if you get walking as part of your life, you are going to notice a change in everything in the human body. And why? Because the human body needs activity. It doesn't need a 1 hour workout alone. It needs activity throughout the day. And if you look at our lives today, there are drivers, there are servants, there's all the help around us to do everything. Sometimes women come who handle all the housework in their house from morning to night. They wake up, they cook, they do all the errands, they go out and shop. That's great activity. They don't need to go to a gym because they are already active. So look at your life where you can improve the amount of activity, and that's exactly what you need to do. So, I always work with a number because, like they say, you got to measure what you do. And that's what turns out into a result. It has to be measurable. So if you have a benchmark, you're at 2,000 steps today, make your target 3,000 steps. And then take it up to 4, take it up to 5. 8 may be fantastic for you. You don't have to have 10. 12 may be fantastic for you. Figure out your own goal. Don't base it on what you hear around all the time. Figure out your own goal and start trying to meet that goal. Because every time you meet that goal, you get automatically self-motivated. And self-motivation is the drug that is missing. Self-motivation is the discipline that is missing in everyone's life. We all know what to do for great health. We all know what to eat. We all know what to do when it comes to exercise. But we don't end up doing it with consistency because we lack vitamin D, which is discipline. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.